What is up, guys? Coop here, and today we're going to be doing a World of Warcraft speculation video. I very much like doing speculations videos because, usually you get like a lot of hints in an expansion, and it's just before the time of the next expansion for Battle for Azeroth, so I figured that we would do a speculation video. Recently, it's been discovered that priests, specifically Shadow Priests, when they enter their Void form, certain words that they say kind of translate into a Void language. However, recently a bunch of words have been found that have kind of translated specifically into N'Zoth. And N'Zoth is one of the only remaining old gods that we know nothing about, really. We know that perhaps he is the one that helped corrupt the Naga. He's very much, and that's kind of where Blizzard's going with, is kind of in charge of that. We know that maybe he's the one that corrupted Deathwing into doing the things that he did. We also know that he's kind of like a sea sort of monster thing. We don't really know too much. Hearthstone artwork is kind of been at this point one of the biggest lore things, but even then that's subject to change. But one of the things we know is that he's definitely somewhere, probably in the sea, and that he is corrupting the hell out of a lot of the things that we do. And he's one of the only last remaining old gods that we know of, and he's been doing a lot of like mysterious things. And one of the things though with the Shadow Priest sort of void form language is certain words actually correspond to his name. They sort of translate right into it. And if I actually bring up the list real quick, the words are Shiver, Finder, and Seeker. Now these words don't hold much, like, it doesn't say like directly like, oh, he's the almighty corruptor or something like that. It just kind of like it gives them like titles that are kind of interesting. Finder and Seeker, it kind of makes sense that those words would translate. They were put there purposely though. Blizzard definitely put these words to immediately translate into N'Zoth, and I think that's very important. So Finder and Seeker is usually somebody who's trying to find or hunt or look for a goal. And I think his goal is sort of finding ways to corrupt Azeroth. As you guys gotta remember, the old gods are all about sort of corrupting a world soul and making a dark titan. That is their goal. Their goal is to make something dark and evil and as powerful as possible. And the only way to do that is a titan. Now that's very important, especially with the goals in mind of this is specifically being a finder and a seeker. That seems very much a fitting theme. Shiver just seems like another word that also kind of does it. I think Shiver, I don't know, you can look at it a variety of different ways, but I think that's just one of those cool like flavor words they throw in there. Now another one, well actually another two, is specifically these two words that throw everybody's theories out the window. I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Pyromancer, make a speculation video about that as well, and he was having issues because banana and orange also translate into that. Now, fruit doesn't really come to mind when you think of an old god, but there might be actually something deeper to that. So a lot of people are thinking that multiple of those words, maybe just if it doesn't have a definition or if it doesn't translate in their sort of dictionary for old gods, it just pops up as N'Zoth. I think it goes deeper. I tried to do a little bit of research because I was like, man, that actually makes sense. A lot of the theories like Seeker and sort of all that stuff, it seems really cool, seems really fitting for what Blizzard would do. However, banana and orange, it just threw everything out. But I'm onto something here, okay? So let's talk about these special types of fruit because they do something very interesting. So let's talk about oranges. Oranges are specifically found in really only two regions. If you look through most of Wowhead stuff, oranges are specifically found in Skulavar Basin and Pandaria. Pandaria is an island, and so is sort of a lot of the areas that you typically would find these special fruits such as oranges and that. So oranges aren't typically grown in sort of eastern kingdoms and whatnot. Oranges are specifically found in Skulavar Basin and Pandaria. Now, assuming that we look into that through that sort of lens, it doesn't seem that weird at all. Assuming that you look at that, though, Skulavar Basin is one of the areas that it was heavily corrupted with N'Zoth. Uh, it has sort of the only access point that we have to Azeroth's World Soul and Heart. If you did the whole Magni scenario, you'll notice that as you did that, there's a lot of void corruption, a lot of void stuff going on. And it's also where the fruit is found. Now, there is reference to a barrel of oranges and a variety of other things, but all those sort of items with oranges came after Wrath of the Lich King. So we can assume that all of our orange supply actually came from Skolvar Basin and then later Pandaria. And that's super important because it has one of the biggest void corruptions of Azeroth that we know up to this date. Literally, the heart of Azeroth was sort of beating in that chamber, and it was void corrupted, and we luckily kind of expunged all the void that was in there. So that's just one references with the oranges. But the bananas part is the part that gets really weird. Okay? So if I actually bring that up. So one of the things that is shown in the sort of the diary is this sort of item here. Now, one of the things that is important about this item is it comes from Tel Abyss. Tel Abyss is one of the only places that has bananas. Obviously, Pandaria is another outlier in this equation, but I'm assuming that when the whole sort of sundering and shattering and everything happened, where the continent sort of exploded and sort of changed and everything, I'm assuming that Pandaria and Tel Abyss were kind of in the same cluster when they all separated. So Tel Abyss has bananas, and it's one of the few places that we have never been. Why? There's multiple references to this item, or these items of these bananas, specifically with a name of a place that we've never been. We know the map is there, and that's about it. So Tel Abyss, I think, is a perfect place for Battle for Azeroth. It's an area we haven't explored. It's a seafaring place. It's an island, and like it just makes sense. But the diaries that come here are very disturbing. So it's about a guy who basically shipwrecks on an island, and a variety of different things happens to him. And there's only 3 pages to it, so it's a very quick little read. But if you actually look at it, it gets creepier. I've been stranded on the island for 4 days now, left alone with my thoughts. Bananas are pretty tasty, but what a long climb to reach them. When I am not getting food or protecting myself from the periodic rain, all my thoughts are of rescue. I would not be so hopeful if it were not for the boxes of paper and bottles washed ashore with me. I laugh now to think of all the time I spent on that ship, cursing that I was stuck with a boatload of alchemists and scribes. So it's basically just describing, I'm stuck on an island, there's some really tasty bananas here. He was stuck on that's how he's writing his diaries, he was stuck with alchemists and scribes, so he's got pen and paper for days. So, seems like he's in a bad situation. But then, day 87 happens. These months now have given me time to ponder, to shuffle and loosen my old beliefs and bigotries. Alliance? Horde? Good? Evil? The meaning of these words, once so clear, now blur as my eyes gaze upon the boundless sea. It looks like maybe a reference to Azeroth, but I'm not going to jump to conclusions there. I know what matters. Bananas are after me. At this point, you're just like, what? Perched in their high tree, they eye me with cool malevolence. And the last one I tried to eat nearly gagged me. I could almost hear it scream as I mashed it, half-bitten, on the sea rocks. It's war, and I will win it. So one of the things that is very interesting about this is it's saying the bananas eye him and were screaming and yelling. That doesn't seem right. Now he might be going crazy at this point. That's another outlier to this theory, but I think it might go deeper. It seems like something that Blizzard would not include unless it had some sort of prevalence to it. But who knows, maybe there's talking bananas, but I doubt it. But that's the first part where it starts getting weird. Then the last diary gets super weird. The bananas started talking to me, and I learned a great deal of their culture. I have ceased my senseless destruction of their homes and consumption of their young. How little I knew then of the great civilization I was destroying. On that topic, I'm running low on bottles and paper. When I first looked at the huge stacks of paper that washed ashore, I thought they would be inaccessible. Oh, sorry about that. Well, for me, my diary must end soon. So, basically, he's just saying, like, you know, basically that he's not eating them anymore, and that they talk to him and tell him about their culture. Now, this might just seem like a crazy guy who's been living on an island for 500 days, but I think, perhaps, that maybe this is old gods whispering to him, corrupting him, changing him, and that sort of thing. I don't know. It feels like something is off about this, and I think that as we kind of figure that out, and time will go on, we'll find out more about it. But I think that these words were placed there specifically because of a hint at something in the future. I think Tel Abyss will be a area that we go to. It's a island with a lot of history, a lot of cool things in there, and a lot of cool themes that they can kind of express and change. And I think specifically those words translating to N'Zoth is meant to throw us off, but also hint at certain things in the future. Such as, there's like a lot of little things in the game that does that. There's like this certain, I'm trying to remember what they are, but basically they channel into a portal whenever a patch is supposed to go out, and then like the time that their cast ends is when a patch usually comes. There's like multiple examples of things that hint in the future to stuff, and I think that's very important, especially going forward. So I think bananas and oranges are actually a lot deeper than we actually think. I think the title is Seeker, and everything about that is actually important, and it will correspond to what will happen in battle for Azeroth. Anyways, though, I thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to kind of make a video about something crazy that was found, and kind of explain a little bit, and maybe like jump into the crazy tinfoil hat sort of theories about this stuff. I like doing World of Warcraft speculation videos. I kind of want to do a little bit more over time. This is sort of one of my examples of doing that. But anyways, I hope you guys do enjoy that. I'm also doing a Q&A in the next couple of days, so if you guys want to actually jump on and send me some questions, the email will be down below. It's datcoopguy@gmail, DATCOOPGUY, and then you can just send me any questions that you guys specifically want. That could be about World of Warcraft, Divinity Original Sin, gaming in general, about life, whatever. It could even be weird questions. But I'm trying to make sure that that's like a really fun segment during my channel updates every 2 weeks. But anyways, I thank you guys for watching. Be sure to smash that like button and also subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. We are trying to go for 900 by the end of February, and I think we can do it. My sub ratio has been very well, and I think it'll be very interesting, especially going forward, and God knows when Battle for Azeroth comes out, I will be covering the hell out of it. So anyways, I thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.